everyone. Welcome to another episode, a special episode of The Fortress of, a podcast about movies and TV shows and video games and lots of pop culture and nerd things. My name is Oscar, and with me, per usual, is one of your other hosts. It's Brian.
It's just me.
It's just me and Brian.
Hello. Jade's here. She also exists.
Jade's here, but she only has some of the same things to say.
This is fair. Very true.
But yeah, so listeners, we're doing a bit of if the title reflects so, a bit of a mini-sode this week since it was a holiday week. We gave people breaks and people did stuff for the holidays. So but we didn't want to leave you guys without any content for the week. So we decided to do just like a little thing here. We're gonna talk about some stuff, but we're gonna make it pretty quick. So hopefully we succeeded in that. Depending on how long this went.
Because I am a long-winded motherfucker. I can let you know that right now. Anywho.
So as of it's called a mini-sode, just a mini-sode, or workshopping the title, maybe World's Finest, which is comic books that Superman and Batman were in, just the two of them. So since there's two people.
Do I have to be Batman? I gotta be Batman, don't I?
Yep.
Okay, that's fine. I'll accept it. It's fine.
All right. So with that being said, Ryan, should we jump into the news? Do a little bit of news real quick?
Let's do it.
News talk.
All right. So first up, man, BioWare is getting beat down again. So they just lost the senior creative director on Dragon Age 4, Matt Goldman. So this in the middle of the game being made. So who knows what's gonna happen with this game?
Yeah, I was reading the stuff about it. There was like some emails exchanged between who was it? Yeah, the email written by the studio general manager Gary McKay that it was a mutually agreed to part ways and leave the developer BioWare. We understand that departure has an impact on you and the game's development, and rest assured, our commitment to a high-quality Dragon Age game is not wavered, and we will not ship a game that is not up to BioWare standards. Which is funny that they say that, considering BioWare standards have been pretty damn low for the past two games they've released. So for them to even say something like that as like oh, well, don't worry, we're going to give you the BioWare charm. Anthem was a dud, and that game failed. Andromeda was a dud, and that game also failed. So things aren't looking very, very dope for them. Because he has been the creative director since 2017, and he's been working there since like 98. So he's a veteran in BioWare community. Yeah.
By the way, this was all brought to you by Kotaku, so no, don't sue us. Anyways.
Yes, absolutely, of course.
I just we thought they were on their last gasp for like 2 years now. So I don't know how much more they have at this point with this now loss. It's just like, I don't know what's going on with that company. I don't know what they're doing.
I mean, within 7 days just passing, we know that Mass Effect have been put on ice for a while. They're like, we're not sure if we're going to make another one anytime soon. And they just told us, they're like, hey, we're making another Mass Effect game. And he's not a part of that creative direction, but it's still kind of sad to see two of their IPs kind of in a rough spot right now, and them trying to give us this false hope kind of feels a little upsetting, a little gross.
Yeah, because they're not making the Knights of the Old Republic remake. They're not making that, so it's like, well, I don't know what's going on, and it's a bit of a bummer because I do like the games they put out. Like, they were some of the best games ever made.
I say BioWare is my favorite dev team. That I've games I've ever played. I've played everything since like Baldur's Gate before they lost the rights to that, which that's a whole funny story as well. It's so disappointing to see them not go down in a blaze of glory, but instead go down quietly and sadly in the corner.
On a whimper, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not super excited about that.
I mean, do you think we're still gonna get a Dragon Age 4 at this point? Like, is it still gonna happen in 5 years or whatever?
I can't say anything for sure. I want to be optimistic and say yes, but the cynical aspect of myself would say no, that is going to end up getting canned, and then BioWare is going to get reuptaked to another part of the company. So it's going to end up happening.
I don't know. All right. Well, we'll see what happens with that game. But speaking of BioWare and the realm they're going on, Deadline reported that Amazon is very close to closing on a deal to make a Mass Effect series.
Yes.
I don't know. Amazon has all the money in the world. They're doing a Lord of the Rings show right now, and it's costing like a cajillion dollars an episode or whatever. So it's like, it's possible. It's possible for them to do a space epic and make it look good.
Absolutely.
But also, Like, is it just gonna be 1, 2, 3? You think?
I don't know. I would hope not. I think this is another thing, and we've talked about this a little bit off air, and may become an episode topic at some point. But I think that
Mm,
media that's already animated doesn't necessarily need to be transformed into a different medium, because
right.
this has already been a video game. We've already played the story, already know the story. So why make it into a TV show? I feel like that almost takes away some of the aspects that makes gaming great, being able to tell a story that's interactive as opposed to just watching it. So it feels almost like a downgrade. So if they did that
Yeah.
plus also made that stuff we've already seen, when this game has, very
Mm.
enriching lore and a lot of cool things that they've really fleshed out really well. And I think they have great stories to tell. It'd be really a disservice to make it just it's Master Shepherd doing Master Shepherd things, because in one, they have to pick an actor for
Did
it.
you say Master Shepherd?
Master Shepherd, Master Chef Chief Shepherd Prime.
Just combine Halo in it.
Commander Shepard, excuse me. It's been a long day.
Oh, that's funny.
And it's only like 2
Yeah.
p.m. But yeah, so if they just make the story based on that, one, they have to pick an actor or actress, which that's going to make people feel a little bit dicey, because that is a game where you get to create your own character, making it very much like
Right.
your own experience.
Well, speaking of which, I mean, this happened a while back, and I don't remember exactly when, but there was that rumor going around because that Henry Cavill could be involved in some
Yeah.
kind of Mass Effect show or something, because
He
he
should
posted
not.
a picture of him sitting in like a chair, and there was like some Mass Effect, either like on a script or like a picture or something, and people were like, "Oh my god, is he doing a Mass Effect thing? Like, what's going on?" I
No,
don't
I
know.
know. Goddamn, there are other actors that are nerds in this fucking space.
Right?
We can pick other nerds. We get it. He's
He's
pretty and he likes video games. There's other
he's the
people that are
king of
pretty
the
that like video
nerds.
games. I promise you. There has to be some other choices. He can't play every single nerd role ever.
He's gonna, yeah. He's, you know how like Chris Pratt's going through the voice acting of all the nerdy properties.
Mhm.
Henry Cavill's just gonna be every nerdy
The
property.
live action of everything.
He's like Superman, Geralt, Commander Shepard. Shit, he'll be Master Chief. He'll just be in a helmet. You won't even know it's him. Who cares?
Yeah, you know that new Last of Us show? He's gonna be Ellie. Because Oscar Isaac has to be Joel,
Twist.
so he's gonna be Ellie.
Oh, that's too funny.
Yeah, I sure hope that's not it. Because for me personally, the female shepherd is my shepherd. Jennifer Hale, no offense to Mark
Right.
Mayer, he did a very good job, but Jennifer Hale just really sold the hell out of those voice lines in that game.
That was probably my biggest complaint in those games, and I guess I get why they did it, because now you got me saying Master Shepherd. Commander
I've
Shepard's
been playing a lot of Halo
voice.
recently, to be fair.
Yeah. His voice is just so kind of generic and bland, but I get it if he's supposed to try to represent a world where he can be anyone, because you can
Right.
change the way he looks no matter what. But like Femshep is just so good though.
Mhm, especially when
Jennifer
you get
Hale
to be an
knocked it out of the
asshole.
park, dude.
She just really kills
Right.
playing the asshole role. I don't know. It just feels so much better. Yeah, so
Yeah.
those kind of things make me a little apprehensive, but at the same time, I can always appreciate, I guess, more of a good thing, or at least I'll attempt to. Um,
Yeah.
so
I mean, this also goes with somewhat the news that Amazon also announced earlier that they're making a Fallout show.
I did see that as well. So they're really trying to play that space
Interesting.
hard, I guess. Which another one, it's like,
Yeah.
I don't know what the fuck you're gonna do with the Fallout show. I mean,
Right.
I've seen YouTube shorts and stuff, and they've been cool, but like, I don't know.
Right.
I'm not crazy into that story. I don't think that has nearly
Yeah.
as deep of a lore as Mass Effect does.
I also, yeah, because it's that game is more of an open world. It's like, which story are you going to tell? Like,
Right.
or unless it's a completely original story, which I think you should just do that, considering
Right.
like none of the game stories. Granted, I've only beaten Fallout 3. I haven't even finished Fallout 4 yet, but like
It's
none of the
not-
game stories like really grab
It's
me
not very
that
good.
much.
No,
I feel
it's a pretty generic story usually.
yeah.
And there's some cool stuff in there. I'm sure they could do something great. I mean, The Boys on Amazon is really good. I've heard some other shows on Amazon are also like very like pretty top notch. So they may have built enough of a base that it feels like they're trustworthy. But
Yeah, it's true. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see if it happens. I mean, it's probably bound to, if like they've seen what stuff like The Mandalorian can do. They're like, we can do kind of space epics.
right. And Amazon, if you're listening, I know you are, Mr. Amazon. Don't cast Henry Cavill. If for like, no, I'm not trying to take money out your bag, Henry Cavill. Like I know you're just trying to make your bank, bro. But like, can you just sit this one out? Like, just for the
If you cast Henry Cavill, I want him to be Liara.
yeah, I want him to be a random ass character, not even like a named character. I just want him to like walk by the screen and just look real quick, and people were just like,
Right.
is that fucking Henry Cavill? Oh, I don't
Right.
know. That's weird.
What if no, I was gonna say he should be Miranda.
People would love those butt shots that they took out of the Legendary Edition. Henry Cavill
That'd be great. It'd
he
be
is a
great.
little caked up there, so he could actually be a perfect role.
Oh, that's hilarious. Yeah. All right. One more quick news story that I want to bring up, being a fan of musical theater, was a couple days ago, Stephen Sondheim, who's a legendary composer and lyricist, passed away at 91 though. So like he lived an incredibly long life. So those are some good innings, but still sad because he worked on so many things. He did the lyrics for West Side Story. He composed a bunch of musicals like Sweeney Todd and Into the Woods and Sunday in the Park with George and a bunch of other stuff. He's a legend, basically. And I just wanted to acknowledge that. Also, because a movie called Tick Tick Boom recently came out on Netflix, which isn't about him, but he's in the story and he's heavily involved somewhat. So it's just a weird universal coincidence that this all happened at the same time. So it's pretty cool. He does a voice cameo in the movie, so and I'm assuming he got to see it as well. So yeah, it's just sad but bittersweet moment where yeah, you lost a legend in a world that I truly appreciate and love. So I just wanted to mention that at the end there. So yeah.
Very much so. Yeah, this is a legend right here. He added so much to so many people, and that I don't know, that can't be
Yeah.
overstated.
Absolutely. Like without him, you don't get musicals like Rent. You don't get musicals like Hamilton, most likely, and stuff in the Heights and stuff like that. Like just the effect he had on the industry itself is immense. And yeah, there's only one of him, and yeah, it's very sad. But with that, shall we move on to our main topic of the show, Brian?
Let's do it. I'm ready.
But we've done it again, only in a minier fashion. We're in the tiny fortress this week. uh it smells delicious in here, though, but it's very chaotic. But
The stove is on fire. Please throw out
Stove
the
is on
sushi, bro. Wash the dishes.
the fortress is melting because it looks like we're in the fortress of
Overcooked. Oh, I'm the only one here. That's weird. Okay,
you're the
wait.
only one. It's
Overcooked,
weird when it's just
overcooked,
you.
overcooked, overcooked.
Add some reverb to you there. Yes, listeners, because Thanksgiving just passed, and that involves food, immense amounts of food, thought it'd be funny to do a little thing about Overcooked and also some couch co-op-y type of games. So yeah, we're gonna talk about Overcooked because also me and Brian, we actually beat this entire game a couple years ago, couch co-op style, classic old school couch co-op style. We beat this entire game, and it's fucking hard.
It's way harder than you expect it to be, considering how easy to pick up and it's only got a few buttons and it's a party game. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, basically, I think a lot of people, if you don't know what Overcooked is, you're just like little chefs, and it's like you just do orders, and you have to deal them out. You got to cook all the food, and you give you new recipes and everything like that. And there's a timer, and it's just like the chaos ensues when you're running out of time or you forget something and stuff catches on fire, and you're just basically trying to get high scores. And I will let it be known that me and Brian 3-starred every single level in that game. We're very proud of it. We
basically what I'm
crushed
saying
that
is
game.
we're pro overcooked gamers, if there is such a
True.
thing.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, because we've also played it in the past, but with like Alex, but and maybe someone else, because we definitely played it with 4, and
Mhm.
it is oh so unplayable with 4 people.
And it's like, I don't know if it's because it's 4 people. I don't know if it has to do with skill level differences being an issue. Maybe it's just too chaotic.
Right.
Because I do feel like 2 people did feel like it was probably the best, like, a line of like, okay, this is enough people that we can get what we need done, and then it's not like us getting
Right.
jumbled up.
It felt manageable. Like it
Yeah.
felt like every level was built that you could do it successfully with 2 people.
Yeah, I
Because
agree.
I tried playing that game solo, it's impossible.
It's impossible. So
Because you still have to control 2 chefs. You have to swap chefs, and it's such a pain in the ass and a waste of time. It's like, this is not playable with 1 person.
not interested. Maybe 3. 3 could be cool. Maybe that's something we gotta try. We gotta have 3
3 might
gamers.
be a
though.
magic number.
3 gamers though. You can't have
Right.
no
Yeah. No
nobody fucking
casuals.
up.
Get
Yeah,
outta
no
here.
casuals in here. Elite gamers only. I am sous chef,
Yeah.
and you're fired. Get out of here. Go full Gordon
Yeah.
Ramsay on him.
Oh, no. I'm going to throw you out of our kitchen.
Yeah, but I don't know. Yeah, it's one of those games that are very like easy to pick up, but kind of hard to master, which I thought was kind of interesting about it.
Mhm.
But it does definitely give the guys of thinking like, oh, it's a game that you can play with your significant other that doesn't really play video games that much, or with your parents,
Right.
something like that. No, it's not that game.
It's not. It's too much. This will cause you to break up.
Yeah, the learning curve it's quite steep. Like you go from like the first two levels, and you're like, oh, I get it. You chop it up and you put it in the oven, and you serve it. And the next thing you know, it's like, yeah, you got to chop it up, put it in the oven. Also, you're flying in space, and there are people that are also beating you up while you're trying to throw the food at each other. I'm like, what? It's only level 3,
Right.
bro.
Yeah,
What's
it,
going
it
on?
it quickly turns into a lot of crap, especially when you get to space and when you get to environments that are like obviously they're built to make it more difficult, but I just remember we got stuck on this one level where we're in a volcano basically. And we have to traverse like lava and there's like little stones and it's like you're constantly falling in lava
The
and
amount of
dying and it's just
times
like,
I fell in that lava,
oh,
and the amount of times that I dropped food in that lava.
yes, just constantly hitting the wrong button and then throwing a full meal away and it's like, fuck. Oh, but yeah, no, it's like that, and I do appreciate the game because like we were talking about, it brought back couch co-op in a way that a lot of games have completely gotten rid of. Like couch co-op is a thing that doesn't really exist. It's starting to come back now, I feel. But like back then, it was just like there was a period of time where it's like it was strictly either single player or online and nothing
Yeah,
else.
and it's weird. It's an interesting thing to see come back, and it's something that you don't expect to really happen so much when technological advances kind of happen and these kind of stuff. Because when I used to play old school Halo and things like that, of course I used to play with my brother split screen all the time, and that was super cool. And then as time kind of went on, those things kind of started becoming online only. It became harder to make games to do split screen and do couch co-op as well as they did. And then like right
Hmm.
before the pandemic, interestingly enough, we started getting a lot of like, I don't know, desire to get back to like the party game aspect. I do think Nintendo has a
Yeah,
lot to do with that as well. I think Nintendo does a very good job of keeping the fun of playing games with your friends in a very
absolutely.
in person way.
They really make games that are, like you said, with Overcooked, where it's simple to play, but, like, there is also that aspect you can totally learn to master this game
Right.
and kick the crap out of people. Like Mario Kart, super simple to play, but, like, once you realize you can drift and do all these boosts and yada, 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 and how to manage items, like, there becomes a more of an element to it. Same thing with, like, Smash.
Right.
Like, clearly, there's a reason why Smash became, like, a pro sport, but also it's 100% you can just play as a party game
It's a game that
casually.
seems to always get brought up whenever you're at like a party with some gamers or something like that. Someone's gonna break out the Nintendo Switch, and you break out 27 tiny controllers that everyone can play Smash together. Yeah, no, I don't,
Right.
it's just one of those things that I think that they've definitely perfected in Nintendo. But it's cool to see other games and other studios kind of play around with that idea because I don't know. I mean, especially after the pandemic has been as long as it's been so far, people miss people. People miss being around people.
Yeah.
Arcades are becoming a thing again, where gamer arcades, where now you can drink beer and play at the arcade like the fucking 90s, which is really weird.
Right.
That inert like need to be around people seems to be kind of coming back, and I think
Mhm.
games that perfect it like this are just really awesome. I don't know. I've been loving
Yeah.
it.
No, I do love it. It's awesome. I also like because like I've gone both ways because there's like some games like you played A Way Out, which
Mhm.
is very much a couch co-op game, but they also I didn't know this until we both found this out at the same time when Alex told us you can actually play that online as well.
Yep, I did play that completely online.
I don't know if they had that at launch though. I feel like they maybe patched that in later. But I was like, that's the only reason why I had never really played it a while because I was like, "Oh, I can't play that. I literally can't play that game single player. There is no single player with that game.
Right.
You have to play it with somebody else."
Uh-huh. Which is an interesting concept as well. Having a game that you literally have to, but they do a cool thing with that because you don't have to own two copies of the game. You can only have to
That is
have
very
one. I
cool.
think that's really cool because that would be really disrespectful to say you can't play it alone and then you just buy this game and you're also a
Right.
loner and now I can't play with nobody. What the fuck?
No, I think specifically that company whose names I cannot remember. I think they've been doing a great thing for couch co games. I think, one of their first games or earlier games, I think was Brothers. I think that was them as well.
I
That
remember
was
that
a
one.
game where you control 2 brothers and you kinda puzzle solve, and that was a couch co-op game too, and then they did, A Way Out, and then their new one, which you also played,
Yep, It Takes Two.
right, right.
Yeah, and that game is a beautiful game. I would highly recommend that to people. And that is a game that I do think is very user friendly to people that may not be super into video games, but maybe see you playing them and like, hey, maybe I'd like to try it out. Or maybe, you want to convince a friend or significant other or family member to play with you. I think that would be
Right.
a great game to start because it has puzzles that are like interesting and like take enough thought that you're not bored if you're a gamer. And then it's also like easy
Mhm.
enough that like if they don't know what they're doing, they're not gonna completely ruin the experience and get
Right.
too frustrated to ever want to play again.
Yeah, I have heard that that game is good for if you and a partner play it because it is about like a couple
It is, yeah.
dealing through some shit. So it's either gonna be really good for your relationship or not. I don't know.
No, it's funny because it was me and a friend playing, and it was just me dunking on her, and like 90% of all because there's a lot of like little mini games you get to play throughout the game, which I thought was
Right.
an interesting like addition to it because you're already kind of fussing at each other trying to figure out puzzles and stuff. But then also every once in a while, I'd be like, oh, well, you can also play checkers really quick, and then it's just like, oh, I'm gonna beat your ass real quick. And then and just like a nice little break in whatever's going on through the story to be like, oh, well, now we get a chance to like, yeah, hash this shit out real quick before we move on.
Right. That's hilarious.
And I love that. Yeah. So those kind of games to like kind of just play. I could imagine. I played that online. I couldn't imagine playing that in person and just kind of having that connection with somebody while
Oh,
being
you
next
played
to
that
them.
whole game
Yeah, I played
online.
it all online. Yeah.
Oh, okay. There is a different element about playing right next to the person. You know
Right.
what I mean? Even especially like going back to Overcooked, what we were mostly talking about was like the communication level you need in that game is you can't have lag. I don't know how people can play that game online. Like,
It felt
holy shit.
like back of house of an actual restaurant trying to get these tickets out.
Yeah, it was for real. It's like we had to plan. Like we'd always do the thing where you go in and you just kind of improvise and see what the level's like and see what you do, and then it's like, all right, we know we fucked up, so let's go back. We got a plan now. Let's figure this shit out. All right, you go over there, I go over here. Da da da. Da.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. No, I think it definitely is an aspect that you just can't recreate anywhere other than being like in person with someone else. It's kind of like I'm trying to think of a good analogy for anything else like that. Like you would never play basketball online with someone. Of course, you have to both be around to play with the ball. Like what else do you
Right,
do?
right.
It's that kind of stuff that's just like I don't know. It's because there's something missing. There's just something missing when you're online. I love playing with my friends online. I
Hmm.
love connecting with my friends online, and I'm glad that I have this avenue to do so. But there's just something
Yeah,
different about just being in someone's presence and seeing them do the thing. I don't know. I don't
yeah,
describe it. There's
absolutely.
definitely some
I
kind of
don't know what
scholarly
it is
journal or
either.
something written there that I'm just not smart enough to come up with the concepts for.
Right. I don't know. It's just that, yeah, that if literally just being in a person's presence, you kind of can vibe off of whoever you're playing with a lot better. And like, you can see what the person's doing on the screen and like kind of like manage it better. I don't know what it is, but there's something, yeah. I do also love online gaming at the same time, but it's like, it's just different. It's a
Yeah, I
totally
mean,
different beast.
not to get too off track, but like just talking about just being in person when you're gaming. When I used to compete all the time, there were a lot of times that I would go to like lands and stuff like that, and that'll be where you'd be competing. So you'd be in like little centers and stuff, and you got I'm talking back in the day when everyone was still using tube TVs, so you just have four tube TVs in a
Right.
line, some fucking gross ass community center chairs, and then another four line of tube TVs like right to the back of each other. And that's where the two teams would play. And I mean, just that connection of just being like one, I'm by my other three teammates and we're all playing together, oftentimes for the first time in person since whatever last tournament we went to. 'Cause oftentimes, my teammates would be in different states, different cities, stuff like that. We
Yeah.
wouldn't get together unless we were actually competing. And then seeing the other team as well and just being beside them and you can trash talk them and say stuff like that. And it just hits different
Mm.
when it's in person. Like, yeah, I can look you in your eye and be like, you suck. And then you gotta live with that because then you've just seen me do it to you. Where it's like I can say it online all I want, you can ignore it.
You're like
Whatever.
on the opposite sides of these two TVs and you just stand
Yeah,
up
you're
to
gonna
look at the
stand
person.
up and be like,
You just
"Fuck
flick
you."
them off.
That's just it's something that you just can't recreate online. That it's
Yeah.
so cool that you can do that in person. And like, yeah,
Right.
even on that kind of extent of playing other games like that, it got to a point where online tournaments became some of the only tournaments, and it's just I don't know. It's something that you just miss out on because it's just a different feeling entirely.
Yeah.
Like once I just finish a game, I don't get to high five my friends. I just good job, guys,
Right.
and then that's the end
I
of
do wonder
it.
if it is our generation type of thing or like kids nowadays, like most of their games are just online. Like, do any
Right.
kids now really know couch co-op games are? And if they were, would they like it more? Like, or is it just us thinking back in childhood memories of
Yeah.
like, man, that's all we did was couch co-op games. So
Is it
I do wonder about that.
is it just nostalgia? That is an interesting thing. I don't know. You local retailer GameStop, which we know has been having the weirdest couple of years with whatever the fuck's
How are they
going on
alive
there.
still?
Yeah, there was at one point that they wanted to consider making GameStops into land centers and having that be an aspect of
Right.
them. where you could actually get in person and like play games while you're sitting there and stuff. And some of the Windows stores, I don't know if you've ever been to like a Windows store. They'll have a couple computers set up and
Mm.
you can play some games on them, play like Fortnite and stuff like that, and just kind of sit there as if it's like I don't know. It kind of gives me that same feeling that you remember like the play places at McDonald's that have the GameCube or the N64 just in
Yeah.
them randomly. You can just play it. It's giving me that kind of
Right.
same feeling, but I don't
Mhm.
know if it actually draws anybody.
Yeah, I don't know either. Yeah, that's very interesting. I feel like, I mean, obviously, probably if they're there, somebody's playing them.
Maybe it's just us. Maybe we're still just boomers and we just go there and play.
Right. I feel like that's what it normally is. Like, I had a buddy who went to a bar in New York City. This was pre-pandemic, and then just broke out his Switch and made friends. And people just they played Smash at a bar in the middle of New York City, and I'm like, that's
That's
amazing.
so good. That's something you can't recreate that, man. It's just so innocent. I
No.
don't know.
That is like, that is why I think, like, Nintendo is, like, they know what their niche is, and they know what they're doing with what they got. Because like, all of their game not all of their games, but a lot of the games are, in a way, party games, but that could be taken a little more seriously.
Yeah.
Going back to Overcooked, I think one of my favorite aspects of it, because we did start playing Overcooked 2 for a bit, so we've gotten to see how they improved. I do like the throw mechanic of the second one.
I thought I was gonna hate it. I'll be honest. I thought it was gonna be the
I
dumbest shit
did
ever,
too.
but it actually wasn't as bad as
Yeah,
I thought it was. So I'll give y'all props for that one.
yeah.
I did yeet a lot of potatoes off the
We
airship.
did.
I will say that.
It took a bit of a learning curve to figure out the arc and everything of not fucking throwing it off the map.
No, I remember coping it into the trash can over and over again.
Yeah, just straight up. Oh, swish,
Hey
nailed
man, I
it.
need a
But
potato.
right
I
into the
got you.
garbage.
It's right in the trash. Okay.
Yeah, so like, I'm excited to continue playing that at some point. I don't know what other games they've made, and so I do wonder if they go past Overcooked. Clearly, they made an Overcooked 2. But I wonder what their next thing is. Is it Overcooked 3, or do they do something else that's co-op-y and fun like that? Like,
Ghost
I don't know,
Town
because it is such a
Games.
simple concept, but they've managed to just make it so fun though.
Yeah, I think that game's super fun. I love it a whole lot. I'm trying to look to see if they've made anything else. Do they not have a Wikipedia page? Who are you people?
They also seem like a company that used to make Flash games. You know what I
That's
mean?
true. Honestly, that does give a very Flash game vibe.
Because like, that's even like a game. Like, I remember playing Flash games in high school or in middle school. That's basically couch co-op, because you would play with people on the same keyboard. Like, some people would use like
You got to use
WASD, and
WSAD.
some
Yeah,
people
then
would use
someone
the
else has to use
key.
fucking.
Yeah.
Oh god, those are the good old days. To see the young guns don't know anything about that shit. Flash doesn't even exist
No,
anymore.
not at all. I remember there was a specific game called Playing with Fire that we used to play all the time, and it's just it was like basically Bomberman in a way. Actually,
Yeah,
it's like a Bomberman ripoff. Oh, so much fun! I do miss couch co stuff, and I do think, yeah, like you were saying, the pandemic has really made people want to see people in person more often now. But at the same time, I do think online gaming saved a lot of people in the pandemic as well.
absolutely. It gives you reasons to hang out.
Yeah.
There's definitely an aspect of like, and they talk about this. I know, psychologists and unfortunately people that make like dating advice columns and stuff like that, which I always feel like they're kind of grimy, but whatever.
Right.
They say like the best thing to do on a date is to go with something that you both are trying to work towards a common goal, or either compete against each other, because it gets you more engaged and figures out different aspects of your
Right.
personality that you wouldn't
Right.
figure out just from talking to people. And there's
Right.
definitely something there with that. And I think it kind of extends the same with gaming as well. I think people like hanging out with their friends or whatever, but I think gaming might be one of the strongest things you can do with your friends, because you are all usually working towards a common goal. And that gives you like, I think girls like to make fun of, and this is all wildly anecdotal and a little gender normative, but like significant others will make fun of their gamer boyfriends or something like that, and they'll be like, yeah, it's like the boys just always like want to hang out on the game and stuff like that. And it's just because I think in a lot of cases, it might be more so for men than other genders, that men aren't very good at talking and expressing themselves more often than not, and that
Wow.
comes from
Yeah.
a whole that comes from like a whole wild thing of gender norms and
Yeah.
societal things that have kind of made
Yeah.
people this way. And then I think gaming kind of gives you a place to kind of start from, because a lot of men aren't as emotionally introspective as they probably should be. And I think
Mhm.
that just gives them a starting point to start conversation. And gaming kind of just helps that.
Yeah.
And yeah, so there's something about just 3 people playing Destiny together that just works a little bit better than sitting 3 people at a table with 2 beers and just saying like, "Hey, talk."
Right,
Like,
right, right.
you know what I mean? Like, not everyone's too good at that aspect of life.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely. It's getting better though. I think people are opening up more. I think people are realizing that you do need to communicate in life from time to time.
I say that like I don't like I leave my apartment ever.
Right.
I still blame it on the pandemic, but
Yeah, I know, right? Funny enough though, listeners, sneak peek. We actually had just got together yesterday. It was me, Alex, and Brian, and we played some Rock Band, and it was pretty
we sure
awesome.
did. And that's another thing. Yeah, we talked about it at a previous episode about
Hmm.
how a Rock Band helped with communication and stuff like that.
Yeah,
Helped with you like not feeling so insecure about
self-conscious
singing.
and
Helped
everything.
Alex
Yeah.
with like, yeah. I was on to something there.
And it's just fun. Like it's good. Like that's like also a game that you could, I guess, do online, but considering it's a rhythm game and also it's just not as fun doing it solo
I
sometimes.
used to play online with friends.
Oh yeah?
And then we used to, yeah, that was another couch co-op thing as well. I was just telling you, me and my buddy John growing up, we used to try to play the endless set list like all night,
Oh my
trying to beat, because you know,
god.
have to beat every single song on the set list. We did it all on expert. Yeah, we would
Whew.
just have to switch off guitar and drums all night.
Oh
That
my
thing
goodness.
took like, I don't know, many hours to do that. It's a
Damn.
stretch, but that was something that we used to do pretty often.
Wow. No, that's awesome. Yeah, I know how much you love that game a lot. I do miss couch co-op games, and so I appreciate games like Overcooked and stuff that they're keeping it alive. And so
Yeah, basically what we're saying is get a Nintendo Switch, everybody, right
it's
now.
true, yeah.
Right now, do it. I don't care what you're doing right now, do it.
A lot of other games are now coming to Nintendo, whereas before most like AAA games or more third party games would skip out on the Wii U and stuff because the hardware just couldn't handle it really. And so
Yeah.
it's cool that the
And the
Switch is.
hardware still can't.
I know.
I'm not gonna lie to you, but they're being a little bit more apt on trying to port it to other systems and port it to Nintendo
Yeah,
Switch,
it's
and I
like
kind of like that.
Nintendo's still somehow always a generation behind
No.
every time.
It's funny. It's like, oh yeah, like they love doing the couch co-op. It's so great they do it so well. It's almost like they ruined online gaming so that they could just do its couch co-op because the online on Nintendo Switch doesn't fucking work.
Right, right. It's very true though. They're not entirely inaccurate. So yeah, we'll see what Nintendo's next console's improvement is. Well, I don't know.
Yeah, I was
Uh,
just reading because I was reading on whether or not Overcooked had crossplay because I have Overcooked too, and I think you do as well.
mhm,
But I have it on PC and you have it on PlayStation,
right.
and apparently it's not crossplay. And
Oh, that
also apparently
sucks.
it loads like dick on Nintendo Switch.
Oh no, really?
Yeah, that was just something I was reading when I was looking up stuff about Overcooked.
Maybe wait till the Nintendo Switch Plus, Pro, whatever they're gonna call it. Who knows? They probably won't even call it the
There's no
Switch.
Nintendo Switch Pro. There's no Pro. It's never coming up.
Alright.
They've already did the 4K version or whatever. Not even it's even 4K. I don't know. Whatever they did
It's
the
like
super
the
version.
OLED model.
Yeah, they did that one. They're not making a Pro. Y'all can give that
They
dream
should
up
just make a
already.
GameCube too.
Yo, I hope it still has a little handle so you can carry it around.
Did it really have a handle?
Speaking
Oh
of
my
some
god,
couch
that's
co-op.
hilarious.
Yeah, it had a handle on the back. You didn't know that?
No, I never had a GameCube, so that's really funny.
Hell yeah. I didn't have one, but my friend had one. He used to bring it to my house. And he used to carry that shit like a little briefcase.
That's hilarious. That's awesome. Thanks, Nintendo. You guys are so weird. I love you. One more thing about Overcooked. Shout out to that dog. It's cool as hell. Also, who gives a shit about the story? Because there's not really a story. You
Oh
you fight
gosh.
a big
One
spaghetti
I would say
monster
the
at the
flying
end.
spaghetti monster or
I will
something.
say, let's talk about that last level because it was that took us, I think, like 3 hours to beat. Finally, that last level.
I can't even
Like,
remember.
I remember trying to play that over and over again, and it was like, God, it's getting late, and then we were just like, all right, let's try it one more time. We can do this. Yeah, I remember because you had to like at that point they made you go through everything you had learned, which is like most games. So you had to like we had to make a pizza, we had to make fish and chips, and it's also like on a roof where we can only go on one side, and everything was moving. And
I think that was the worst part. Is I hated the times that would make you have to like wait to turn things in because like the ship would like split
yes,
apart or something like that. And I was like, no,
mhm,
y'all just wasting my time.
right.
What are y'all
Which
doing,
is
man?
why I think I like that they incorporated the throw in too. So
Right.
yeah.
Who was your favorite chef out of like all the characters that you saw, if you can remember?
I like the one I played was I played as wheelchair chef. I played as the
Wheelchair
chef
chef.
in the
Yeah.
wheelchair.
Was it a wheelchair raccoon? Was that the one? Wasn't
I
there like a
think so,
raccoon in a
yeah.
wheelchair? Yeah. I think they might have
Yeah.
added another
I
character in
liked
a
how he
wheelchair as
scooted
well.
around.
Oh yeah, when you hit the little zoom
Yeah.
button. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
it was
pretty
so
dope.
cool.
Yeah. I of course always liked the black dude. And then I
Right.
also liked the box. The guy's just a box head.
Yeah.
box for a
I
head.
do love the amount of chefs they put in the game. I do like that. I think it's really fun
That
and
shit
cool.
looked like a Super Smash Brothers character select screen in Overcooked
Oh
2.
my god, it
I
really
was
did.
so confused. I was like, wait a second.
When we
They had
booted that
different
up, there
skins
was
and stuff.
so many. There's like a ghost and like yeah, they definitely put in a lot of different character options for that one. In a game where you only play as 4 at the most.
Only have 4, and then you can barely even see them because the characters are pretty small in the actual
Right.
game.
And it's like kind of a top-down-ish view almost. So it's like
Right. It's okay. I know I'm box dude. That's all that matters to me.
Right, right. But yeah. So listeners, if you haven't played Overcooked, play it. Get a friend, play it. Sit on a couch, be safe, play Overcooked. It's a super fun game. It also might ruin your friendship in your life, so pick a friend that you don't really like as much. Should we now move on to our final segment of the week?
Let's do it.
All right. This is a segment, listeners, which we like to call Free for All, title pending. It is a segment where we kind of do whatever we want. We can recommend something, video game, movie, TV show, whatever, book. We don't read, but who cares? We can talk about our day.
I read sometimes.
I read it sometimes too. We can, yeah, just say how we're doing. We just go on a rant. We can do whatever we want. Really, it's free for all. I can go first. My free for all this week is I finally, because Black Friday just passed, I finally was able to buy and purchase Mortal Kombat 11, a game that I have been wanting to play for 2 years now, but have not wanted to put in $60 when it first came out because not that big of a Mortal Kombat fan, but I love the stories of them because they're ridiculous, like super high budget Hollywood Michael Bay-esque almost movies, basically.
Mortal Kombat has changed so significantly since the original iteration in
Right?
the
It really
arcade.
has. Yeah, so I finally was able to pick that game up, the ultimate version, so I got all the all the additional DLC characters and everything. That's what I did with Mortal Kombat 9 and Mortal Kombat 10 X, whatever. And yeah, I played through the story because it's their stories aren't very long, but like I said, they're like super high budget. The game looks amazing. Oh my goodness, the faces. Like they as like we used to talk shit about how BioWare did not know how to use that engine for Andromeda because it's the same engine that they use. And man, does it show how much better NetherRealm is at you working this engine because the facial
uh,
animations, just everything in that game looks so damn good.
it's crazy to me that it's not like it's not a PS5 and like Xbox Series X exclusive. Like that game came out a couple years ago at this point.
Yeah.
And we played, of course, on PS5 when I went over to your house yesterday. And I was like, holy shit, this game looks amazing. Like, this game looks really good.
Yeah, because Injustice 2 looked pretty like almost I would say just as good. I can't remember last time I played it, but like they really know how to pump out those facial animations. And then
Yeah.
yeah, like the story is ridiculous. It's time traveling. If you haven't played any of the Mortal Kombat games, I would say if you want to play 11, don't start at play Mortal Kombat 9, which was like kind of like the rebootish when they brought it back. It was during the PS3 360 era. Because it is a continuous story from at least 9, 10, and 11. You can say all the other ones, but mainly 9, 10, and 11 are one continuous story. And it's so much fun. The ending is the most Dragon Ball Z ridiculous ending in the world, and it's amazing. On top of that, like they've always known how to make really well-made fighting games. And so the fighting is it's still good. It's brutal as hell. So I will say if you do not like gore or anything like that, like, you know what Mortal Kombat is, it's fatalities, it's blood. Like, if you've seen the most recent movie, you've seen the old movie, like, that's what those movies are. But this one, because it is so realistic, it is brutal.
I will say I'm usually pretty like, fine with gore, gruesome things. Most of my favorite like scary movies are usually slasher films and stuff like that. So I thought I had like a
Mhm.
pretty good stomach for this kind of stuff. Mortal Kombat makes me feel fucking weird. When we played that yesterday, that game made me feel uncomfy if I've ever felt because of just like you said how realistic it is. And I can't quote any article or anything because I don't remember exactly where it came from, but I do recall the developers saying that they did start feeling a little bit of depression from animating some of these fatalities when they working on
Yeah.
this game. Because I mean, if you're crunching and you're working 12 hours a day, 5, 6 days a week on a game where someone's ripping someone's heart out and then eating it,
Right.
like it looks like what it does. Because we played like maybe what 5 or 6 matches, and I was like, yeah,
Yeah.
I'm gonna need to take a break. What the fuck is happening? Because
Yeah.
it's intense.
I can see how it could be a mental toll on from person to person, depending on. But yeah, so be aware of that if you do. Don't let your kids play it. Come on. But also, it's like the 90s again. The news is gonna tell you, but it's a terrible, dangerous game.
It's just a video game.
Just censor watch your children, but also they shouldn't be playing Mortal Kombat. It's fine.
All right.
But yeah, so I finally got to play that. I love the story. I think it was so much fun. I loved how in this one they finally incorporated more stuff from the original movie. So like the actor who played Shang Tsung is Shang Tsung in the game. Like he's a DLC character and it's him. It's his voice acting. It's his face. It's awesome. And then they also added a pack where they added the actors for Raiden, Sonya, and Johnny Cage. I haven't bought it yet because it's like $6, and I don't feel like paying $6 for 3 skins. So
Because
I'll
it's
wait till
like
that.
$6. I thought you said like 20.
No,
It's like $6.
I don't want to pay $6 for 3 skins that I'm going to use once.
That's fair. Okay, I got you there.
I've seen it go on sale before. I'll wait. It's fine. But yeah, so they added those 3. So I love how they really dove into the movie aspect. I will say the worst part of this game is Ronda Rousey's voice acting for Sonya Blade. She is fucking terrible.
I mean, I wasn't exactly expecting much, but
That was pretty disappointing to hear when it first started. I was like, oh, I forgot. They pumped her out for this. I forgot.
that's who should be Commander Shepard. It should be Ronda Rousey.
No,
She likes
she
video games. She a
can't
nerd.
act.
She's okay. I don't. It's fine. Make her the new nerd. She plays World of Warcraft just like Henry Cavill. She's basically just the woman version. It's perfectly fine. I don't see the issue.
That'd be funny. Yeah.
So mine is gonna be a little bit of kind of extra news because I didn't really do much this week. I'll be honest with you guys. I don't do much in my life, but this is something that's kind of interesting that's on the table right now. But it has been teased at an investor presentation at Daybreak Games, who made DC Universe Online. I don't know if you're familiar with that game. It's a massively multiplayer online
Never
game.
played it, but yeah.
Yeah, I've heard decent things about it, surprisingly, but I never.
I hear basically now it's impossible for you to join because all of the cool names and shit is taken. So it's like you won't have a really cool character anymore.
You gotta be Dirt Nugget 420.
Well, I'm Superman 85.
85. Oh no. No, you gotta be XX Superman XX. 99. Gotta put your date of birth in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have teased that they are gonna be making a Marvel massively multiplayer online game. And I thought that was super interesting considering how much we do talk about Marvel on this podcast, that they're going to be doing that. Now, that's not coming out anytime soon. We're probably looking at a release date, probably somewhere closer to 2024, something like that.
Oof, yeah.
But they did say in the investor meeting that they are, on their financial report, that they will be looking at making a game after 2022 for the Marvel MMO.
Isn't that what Avengers was? Just kidding. That game is what it is.
That game is officially $10 right now. I was about to send it to you for the PS5 version as well.
That's hilarious. That is hilarious.
And I was like, yep, of course it got there. It had to hit it eventually.
That's interesting that this company got to play with both sets of the toys, though. That's really interesting that Marvel, like, I'm surprised Marvel's like, yeah, go ahead. You just do DC and I'll do our turn.
Yeah. Apparently it's led by Jack Emmert, who is in charge of DC Universe Online currently. And even helped design City of Heroes, which is a game that I really wanted to play growing up. That was like one of the first superhero massively multiplayer online games that used to be shown on like G4 TV all the time.
Yeah, I feel like I remember
which
that
I heard
name,
was also
don't remember.
Yeah, pretty cool. I just didn't have a computer that was good enough to run it at the time.
Right.
So yeah, I think that's super interesting to see that kind of stuff kind of come out. I'll be interested to see if it does well. MMOs are having a rough go of it. Recently, if you're not Final Fantasy or World of Warcraft, you're usually just kind of out of luck when it comes down
Although
to
I've heard that what's it called? Elder Scrolls is doing somewhat wellish. I've never played
Elder Scrolls
it.
has been doing okay. They've been pretty good at, because they have a good system in the way that they work the game. That you usually just have to buy the game itself. You don't have to pay a monthly fee. I think you have a choice to if you want to. Star Wars: The Old Republic isn't doing horribly either. I think they still get pretty.
I forgot that was
content.
a game.
Yeah, that is a game. It is still
shit.
getting content, and I still think it has a pretty strong fan base of people that do play it. I tried it, and it just wasn't for me personally. Yeah, and then New World is having a ton of issues because they just don't know what the fuck they're doing.
That's Amazon's, right?
Yeah, that's Amazon. They just had to re-roll the servers because they were accidentally giving out free gold recently. It sucks. People love that game, but they've been having a rough go at it when it comes to their development cycle.
That is
But yeah,
hilarious.
we'll see. I'm liking that more MMOs are able to exist outside of World of Warcraft. I think that's kind of cool.
I think they're gonna have to, because who knows if World of Warcraft's gonna last forever at this point.
Oh man, we might not get another expansion, bro. They haven't even announced it yet, which is kind of alarming. So
Yeah.
we usually get a patch expansion announcement at this point, and we haven't gotten that yet. So
Yeah. I don't see that happening anytime soon.
Oh, Bobby boy, what'd you do to us?
No, that's really cool. I think, yeah, playing in the Marvel universe like that, I think that'd be pretty fun for people. I probably won't unless I hear it's amazing, just because I was never really an MMO person, just because I hate the grind.
Mhm.
It's just they're just time consuming stuff, and yeah, so but it's cool. I'm excited. That'd be pretty cool if they nail it, or at least do as
Yeah,
well
we'll see.
as the DC one did.
Right. I hope they give some kind of like free to play to a certain level or some kind of demo or something, maybe a beta.
Right.
I'll try that. But I ain't about to buy this game without seeing no gameplay.
No, absolutely not. Maybe they'll go the Fortnite route. Maybe it'll just be in beta and free forever.
Hey, I like that. That's good for me.
Well, I think that is it, listeners. You can email us at thefortressof@gmail.com. Fortress spelled Four. Feel free to email us any questions or feedback or any recommendations, or yell at us if we missed anything in any section of the show, or if you want throw some news at us that we didn't talk about. Also, you can follow us on Twitter and Instagram at the Fortress of, and the Fortress of YouTube channel, which has a couple things up there now, and we'll have other things in the future as rapidly as everyone can get them up there. Tell your friends, tell your family, tell your grandma, tell your cat. Go into World of Warcraft or any MMO you play, and then just keep spamming the Fortress of until people get annoyed and you get kicked out.
Star Wars: The Old Republic. Go ahead and go to Star Wars. Yelling whatever. I don't know anything about that game. I couldn't even name one area that people hang out in. I tried so hard, and I was like, I don't know anything about this. But
Oh, that's funny.
It's your boy, Alex. You can follow me at Alex is an alien on Instagram.
He's gonna be so mad again. Oh, that was funny.
You can also follow me, Brian, at it's ITZ, by the way, on Facebook. You can also follow me at it's, by the way, ITZ _ by the way, on Instagram and on twitch.tv/by the way X. And you can't follow Devin because I'm not sure that he even exists. I think he's an ethereal being.
He's a ghost man.
But yeah,
I think so.
he's
Yeah.
a ghost man. And he wasn't even on this podcast. He's never been on this podcast, actually. You've been imagining him this entire time. You weird fuck.
We don't even know who he is. We just look for a new Devin every week, and he just somehow happens to sound the same. Anyways, thank you, Brian, for the art. Thank you, Alex, for the music. Devin, thank you for being a ghostly figure here every week. And thank you, Jackie, for helping edit the podcast as well. Happy holidays, everyone. Whatever holiday you celebrate. Happy, damn.
Be happy. Arbor
Just be
Day is
happy,
great.
world. There needs to be more of it.
We need more happiness. Play video games on the couch.
Yeah, do it. And also put a code on its code out there, because it's real damn cool.
Yeah, I've been having. I like to do the coat short combo. Maybe some flip flops to really give it a old razzle dazzle.
I was about to say. Very nice. Well, thank you, listeners. We'll see you here next week in another episode of The Fortress of.